So, I could have looked for a big scandal in the breeding industry or the showing industry, but we covered that, And as we record this, Feral Hog Month started yesterday. So I feel it is my opportunity, nay, my responsibility.
Your duty.
My duty as a woman, as a friend,
as a wife,
as a lover, as a wife, to discuss one of the world's greatest scams, the teacup pig.
Mini pigs?
Mini
Yup.
pigs?
Yup.
Oh, we have a history with mini pigs.
We do.
Well, you're about to get some bad news, folks. So how did this teacup pig, mini pig trend even start? Well,
Paris Hilton.
no. Before she was even a thing. National Geographic did the hard-hitting investigative journalism, and they said, quote, the novelty of petite pigs in the United States began in 1986 when a few dozen Vietnamese pot-bellied pigs were imported to American zoos.
Cute.
They are very cute. Pot-bellied pigs are very cute, and they are arguably not as big as or they don't get as big as a feeding pig. So that kind of started the illusion of the mini pig.
You could have a small pig. Okay.
Yep.
So pot-bellied pigs are just the hairy, they're shorter.
They're patchy.
Yeah, they're just a cute pig.
You gotta stop saying cute, because that's really subjective.
Yeah, but if you look on the drive at what they're marketing as a mini pig, they're so fucking cute. But then when they are bigger, all bets are off.
So the one in the pink skirt is a potbelly. Oh my God, it has pink nails.
We'll get to it.
Sometimes they're spotted.
Yep. They can have different markings. Okay. So these Vietnamese potbelly pigs are showing up in American zoos, and private breeders are like, oh shit, those are cute as fuck. This is an unregulated industry. I'm gonna sell pigs.
And they're not good for bacon and pork and stuff.
I'm not sure if they are supposed to be bred and raised for food, but any pig's gonna taste pretty good. Fucking wild hog,
surely that's what they were in Vietnam.
Probably, yeah. I imagine they are for food.
Yeah.
But in this context, private breeders take notice to breed or inbreed and underfeed the potbelly pigs and other small breed lines, such as, these are some names that I can't really pronounce properly, but I'm going to try, such as New Zealand's Kune Kune and the state of Georgia's Spanish-descended Ossabaw Island pigs.
Okay.
These strategies produce pigs that were significantly smaller than 1,000-pound farm hog, but not the size of a Chihuahua as promised by breeders. Their weight is impossible to predict.
Their adult weight.
Correct.
So they'll take pictures of them as little piglets, and they say they're gonna stay this size. It's such a great family pet.
Or they'll max out at about 60 pounds.
Right, which is still
It's
big.
a great family pet.
Big.
They're really smart. Yeah, but 60 pounds. I mean, Callie was 50 pounds.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's a dog.
Right.
That's a manageable size.
Right.
I remember
But
this trend.
You can't limit it to that.
No, you
don't
can't.
know.
I remember this absolutely blowing up in the mid-2000s. I'm sure Paris Hilton had something to do with that, but everyone was in on it.
Oh, Kyle Green was obsessed with mini pigs. We had a whole science project that got derailed where we only ended up talking about mini pigs.
Massively derailed. We got an A. I think just because Mr. Hessian wanted us to shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah.
If you stop talking about mini pigs, I'll give you an A.
Yeah.
The Mars Millennium Project, and we just went on a full ass rant about how we were gonna build a colony on Mars entirely around mini pigs.
I know someone who got a mini pig who fell for this and ended up having to rehome it because of its size. It's not anyone that you know, but I know someone who this
and
happened.
pigs will eat a baby.
Sure. I didn't see any of those reports, but if they're hungry enough, they'll eat a whole adult person.
They're also
shockingly, this someone that I'm not
gross.
Naming was not me, but I was extremely tempted also to get a mini pig because It was
you don't
the thing.
know. Yeah.
You don't know.
Had you been an adult living on your own with your own income,
if I had any disposable
you
income
would have
at the
gotten
time,
14 of them.
I would have had at least 3 mini pigs, and then at least 2,000 pounds of full adult pig in my apartment. It would have been bad. So Jake Swearingen of Modern Farmer wrote in 2014 to quote, "Never buy a teacup pig." Like that was like the title of his article.
Good.
Okay? He explains why. Teacup pigs, also sometimes sold as micro pigs, pocket pigs, and Juliana pigs, are a marketing scam reaching back at least 2 decades, if not more.
Juliana pigs.
Juliana pigs. It works like this. Breeders put up listings for teacup pigs, promising to sell petite porkers that'll stay permanently tiny. But buyers then pay anywhere from $750 to over $3,500 for their teacup pig.
What if your kitten grows to be 1,000 pounds?
I'd be so happy.
It'd be like Clifford the dog, but a cat.
Big red beans.
Wow.
Oh my God. I'll pray every night. The buyer then watches as that tiny pig becomes a larger adolescent pig and then a very large, very non-teacup sized hog.
Yeah, they're just buying
Alice
a
in
piglet.
Wonderland teacup sized.
Pretty much.
They're just buying a piglet.
Yeah.
I can't believe this advertising worked like this.
Yeah.
Well, teacup poodles, all kinds of teacup dogs exist.
We're used to miniature plus whatever breed and then assuming that even as an adult, it's still small because that's what we're used to in domesticated animals.
Right.
And so they just said that about pigs and we were like,
And people fell for it.
oh God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So I have provided before and after photos of teacup pigs on the drive, which will be on the blog. And a vet weighed in, LOL, see what I did there, on this article. Yeah, it's shocking. And we'll get to some of the very specific pigs. Making it extremely clear, quote, "The word teacup describes what the pig looks like at the exact moment in time that the photo is taken. So in infancy.
Yeah.
It has no bearing on what that animal will look like 3 months or 36 months down the line," says veterinarian Dr. Patty Cooley of Miami's Sunset Animal Clinic. "They grow well beyond their undeniably adorable small appearance right at the outset. They get very, very large." So vets, farm professionals, tons and tons of fucking people are coming forward and saying, y'all, teacup, mini, pocket,
don't do it.
They're not breeds. This is not a breed of pig. What you're getting is like likely a Vietnamese potbelly pig, which sure might not get to 1,000 pounds.
But it'll be 400 pounds.
But it'll get to upwards of 450 pounds.
You'll notice it.
Yeah.
Correct. The words that they're using in these ads are simply a descriptive buzzword used to sell an often underfed baby pig with the promise that it will stay small.
Oh my
According to
God.
experts, quote, "So-called teacups are actually pot-bellied pigs who are either underfed to stunt their growth or who are sold under false pretenses."
These would have done so well on Mars.
Oh, yeah.
This is actually validating our Mars Millennium Project.
Yeah, we would have had way more bacon than we planned.
Yeah, which
That
is always a better
good
outcome.
for a human.
Yeah. A lot of folks found this out the hard way.
Or they would have gotten to be 1,000 pounds on our spacecraft on the way to Mars.
Yeah. That trip is not brief. That
Well,
pig
if there's
was
no
dead.
gravity, doesn't matter.
Okay, I don't. I'm really glad y'all don't build spaceships.
Let's get Kyle Green on the
Floating.
phone. We have something to discuss.
Just this massive pig just floating.
Circling back
Feral
25
hog
years
space.
later.
Just release them into space. Feral hogs are now.
Put a mask on them. Whatever. They're adaptable. They'd find a way to
They're-
survive.
yes.
Probably would.
God. So, folks, a lot of folks found this fact that mini pigs aren't a thing out the hard way. In 2006, St. Paul, Minnesota resident Sarah Davis Jastrom adopted what she thought was a mini pig from a little farm, like a pop-up hobby farm.
Oh, God.
The little pig, who was also blind, likely from issues with breeding, was only 7 pounds when she was adopted and named Daisy May.
Oh, God. Which one of these photos is this woman?
Where they're on 2 separate chairs and like kind of gazing at each other.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. But Daisy May reached a whopping 300 pounds within about a year. Sarah and her then boyfriend, now husband, bought a house in St. Paul with a fenced-in yard to allow Daisy May to roam and soak up the sun, gaining her local icon status within the community. But not everyone was down with this. From the Pioneer Press, quote, a concerned person squealed on the pig to City Hall in 2010. And this was how Jastrom, excuse me, I'm burping, learned that the city had an ordinance on the books that classified pigs as dangerous exotic animals, along with lions, tigers, and gorillas.
Oh, okay.
Fortunately, a neighbor helped Jastrom organize a Help Save Daisy May campaign, and it led to a petition with 11 pages of signatures from more than 400 neighbors. If only we organized around things that were fucking important. There, and I said it. Anyway, city officials were sympathetic. Eventually, after some research into the matter, the ordinance was edited to allow for this type of pet pig.
Okay. I mean, they can be dangerous.
Yeah.
But they're sweet.
Well, we'll get to it.
Okay.
While I hate a snitch, I honestly do not condone keeping animals like these as pets, especially in cities. It's not the environment for them. And this is not just my opinion. Like, this is fact. Lauren Edwards, owner of a UK farm and rescue that has devoted much of its resources to caring for dropped off like mini pigs that just got too big, as well as many other vets and, farmers will all say the same shit. But she said, quote, they require lots of space to wander and root. That's their natural, instinct. They need activity and enrichment. And in most cases, a safe, pig-proof, all-weather house of their own. Most importantly, they do best with another piggy companion to bond with. And we'll kind of get to that, too. In fact, it's a rare family that's actually equipped to properly provide these wonderful animals with what they need to thrive as a pet.
Yeah, they're really
They do better on a farm with a lot of room.
They need space.
Other pigs. Mm-hmm. Like, if you want to have a hobby farm, by all means have a hobby farm with a couple of sweet pigs that you never eat and you just have them as pets, but they're actually in a safe environment for them to not just survive, but thrive.
And if they escape, they're
not going to hurt anybody.
They're going to turn into feral hogs in like a generation.
Mm-hmm. Fortunately for Daisy May, she lived to be 15 years old and passed peacefully at home in 2021. Whether her life was a particularly happy one, we really can't know. I think it would be hard for her to really thrive as a 300-plus pound pig in like a little chain-linked St. Paul city yard.
I mean, we don't know how big their exact yard was, but
we don't, but
that's likely.
It's like right near a school. Like, she was famous in the neighborhood because lots of people are walking by. Like, it was in a pretty high density area. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, it's like, I'm glad that she lived a nice long life, but that's not the ideal life for an animal like this. It's just not. I wouldn't condone you getting a fucking monkey. I wouldn't condone you getting a big exotic cat if you have like a small house. Like, and it's just not.
This lady did not intend to buy a pig.
No, she thought she was getting a mini pig.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When I was in New Zealand, one of the tattoo artists that we worked with on the documentary had a couple big dogs and a big old pot-bellied pig who was it just lived like one of the dogs. Like, they just were like a little pack.
I know that people do that.
Yeah,
but
if you can give them lots of exercise and enrichment, sure. But it's
not for me.
I don't want to see Bade Pig in the city. Your situation was different out in New Zealand with like a lot of space for them to roam and root around and like
it's still pretty city, but sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's rough. So Janie Byrne of Lafferton, Northern England, bought 2 teacup pigs. Mika in 2009 for $515 and Molly for $73 a year after. So one in 2009, one in 2010. before realizing they would continue to grow.
Well, one of them she had it for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it didn't balloon to that size. Like, she had been told that they could reach about 60 pounds.
And that's
so
where
the first pig had gotten
so she
fairly
thought,
big.
It's fully grown.
Right. And then she got another one, and they far surpassed that in the first couple years that she had them. Quote, people noticed their rapid growth. They said, they're not micro pigs, but I wouldn't listen to them. Byrne, 47, told Cater's News.
Okay, denial.
I know. Each pig reached sizes upwards of 200 pounds. Molly and Mika are also incredibly expensive, not just for the food that they eat, but medical care as well as food for the pigs can run upwards of $440 a month.
Medical care?
Yeah.
Well, they are an
they're not in their
exotic
proper environment.
animal, and if they had breeding issues, and then the food, they must consume so much food.
So much food. But yeah, the breeding issues are bad. They're not, these pigs are not well. They're malnourished when you get them and bred not humanely. So to treat Mika's arthritis, Byrne gives her horse medication on a spoonful of jam.
Stop.
Nope.
Oh my God.
The article I pulled that information from was from 2016, so I have to assume Mika and Molly are no longer with us since they were purchased in, well, maybe not. 2009 and 2010. Probably now they're not. At the time, they obviously were very much alive, but maybe they're still kicking. I don't know. Some of this might seem kind of humorous. I can see the comedy in these thinking you're getting a baby pig and then you have these massive pigs and she's like putting them in costumes and doing their nails and like LOL.
So Mika's the one with the pink nails?
I think so. That's the pic. God. There's a picture of the two of them in Christmas gear, and I'm not sure which one's Mika and which one's Molly.
I'm
but
sorry,
that's both
Mika,
of them.
but that's not a cute pig.
No, she's.
I am not a pig none of these pigs are cute to me. Not even the baby.
That's insane.
You
are a sociopath because the babies are cute, but like adult pigs are pretty nasty.
You ever touch the feel of a pig?
Oh yeah, it's like human skin and like coarse human hair.
It's like a wire brush.
I don't want a pig, but yeah. So yeah, I can see the humor in that situation, but there are some big consequences for this marketing stunt. First off, and most obviously for the pigs themselves. Like, the people getting duped, like, that sucks. Now you got to spend a fuck ton of money on this pig or find a new home for it. But, like, a lot of these pigs, like, really suffer. Not only are they often questionably bred and malnourished in order to boast a desirable tiny size, pigs in general do not have the generations of domestication that dogs and cats have. So pigs are incredibly smart and social animals with each other, with research showing that they have excellent long-term memories, are aces at solving mazes, have a sense of time, and can be able to anticipate future events.
They can do like puzzles.
Yeah, they can learn from humans and other animals and exhibit emotional empathy. They can even be potty trained like cats. Like, you could have an area, like a giant litter box, basically, and teach them how to use it. And if kept in ideal conditions, are very clean. But research also shows that by and large, they are not social outside of their breed.
So they don't give a shit
or like
about
their
us.
Type.
They don't want to hang out with you. They don't want to live in your house.
They want to live with other pigs.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like pack animals.
Right.
In the way, they're not social outside of their breed in the way that domesticated pets are specifically bred to be companions to humans and to be social with other dogs and or cats or other like small animals. Like some dogs you
just
can breed.
Not toddlers.
Right, sure. And, you know, some dogs you breed to hunt, so you wouldn't want to have that dog and, like, a small cat in your house. You know what I mean? But there are lots of breeds that are specific to be social across different breeds with kids, just like we talked about at the top of the episode. Pigs really are not like that. They're breeding them to be kind of smaller and, like, I guess kind of cute, but, like, we don't have hundreds of years of pigs or being thousands. Human companions. Yeah, thousands of years.
Even if they are being bred for that, which we don't know.
We don't have enough time at this point.
It's been like 10 minutes.
Right. We've been marketing these pigs since the 80s, so it's like, this ain't it. So what you can get is an animal smarter than a fucking dog, like smarter than a toddler.
Yeah.
Who can anticipate your schedule and then grow to be hundreds of pounds.
Doesn't particularly like you.
Who is not bred to be living in close quarters with humans and any other non-piggy pets. So it's a fucking recipe for disaster. And all too often, the unsuspecting pig ends up dead or abandoned.
Yeah.
So there was a big surge in teacup pig buying in South Florida in 2015, and the results were hog wild.
We know about this.
Yep. When the pigs inevitably got too big for the owners to care for them, they were often abandoned in the Florida wilderness. And
the gators loved it.
Probably. But like the people for the most part were trying to take them to a shelter.
And shelters were like, no.
Shelters that have like dogs and cats and stuff literally couldn't take them.
Yeah.
You're not going to take a full-ass pig?
No, and then the shelters that were able to take in like farm animals were so overrun that they literally had to turn people away.
And farmers can't take them because they don't know what the fuck they have, and they're not going to bring this unknown element into their herds.
No, that they are just spending money to care for. Like, that's not how it works. So, as we know from feral hog crimes, domesticated and farm pigs can begin the transformation into feral hogs within a matter of days in the wild.
Same.
And the feral hog population has increased consistently each year in Florida, with a current population of over 500,000 hogs. And hogs can be found in literally every county in Florida. So don't think you're safe just because you're going to Disney Orlando in the governor's mansion. They're all getting hogged. The pigs who are not abandoned often just don't make it to adulthood. There's a very dark side to this type of breeding.
In the wilderness.
Well, not even that. Like, they may not even make it long enough to be adopted or purchased as a mini pig because the breeding has so many fucked up effects on these animals. So again, from National Geographic, Rich Hoyle, a 20-year sanctuary veteran who founded the Pig Preserve in Jamestown, Tennessee, says he's seeing more rescued minis with congenital problems such as deep recessed eyes, males born with retained testicles, and females, like Wisp, born without an anus because of poor breeding practices.
Oh, no butthole.
No butthole. On many rescues, the herd of 50 to 100 pigs that he will encounter are descended from one pair of siblings. Hundreds of pigs.
Siblings. And their siblings.
Yeah. You can find 50 to 100 pigs that are the children of one set of siblings when he goes to rescue at these, like, it's basically puppy mills.
Yikes.
They're puppy milling these pigs. Quote, these poor inbred and half-starved pigs are inundating sanctuaries. Probably 90% of the so-called micro pigs, that's one of the mini pigs' many nicknames, others include teacup pigs and pocket pigs, will either be dead or in a sanctuary before they are 2 years old. It's bad. Best Friends Animal Sanctuary in Kanab, Utah.
I've been there.
Had opened its doors to take in mini pigs from all over the country who had outgrown their small homes. By 2009, they estimated they had taken in and either rehomed or had to provide end-of-life care to approximately 300,000 so-called mini pigs that were not actually mini pigs. Yeah.
Jesus, that is
Farms
so
and
many.
sanctuaries during the peak of the trend were so overwhelmed and they couldn't keep up. The breeding industry of these pigs was completely unregulated and remains unregulated for the most part. Now there exists a quote-unquote regulatory group called the American Mini Pig Association. But I'm looking into Big Pig because
that's sketch, because if they
really sketchy.
If they don't exist,
then how can you, they're not condoning it, they're selling them too.
Well, I sure hope you liked that clip. If you did like that clip, make sure you are subscribing to our YouTube channel, leaving us a nice review, and joining us on Patreon for even more video content, audio content, salacious content all around. Come join us. Treat yourself.